Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show on this Wednesday, the 16th of August, 2023. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you guys here. I'm going to tell you guys, our show is going to focus on what's going on in China right now. China is the second biggest economy in the world. And if it goes down, look, it all goes back to this trade war that was started during the Trump administration. It's still ongoing, and it's morphed now into more aspects, more areas. All part of this, the war between Russia and Ukraine, the tension on the Polish border between Belarus and Poland right now. Everything just worse. This is worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis. But the most intense part of this entire crisis, the most intense hot part of it all, is what's going on in the financial system. The countries are trying to break one another. And if this is not obvious, it should be obvious. Look at what happened with the sanctions that were put on Russia during the Ukraine war. Those sanctions were designed specifically to destroy the Russian economy. And don't you think for a second that China and Russia are not working together to destroy the United States economy, and the United States, and they're being successful. Everybody is destroying everybody else's economy. So I guess the thing is they're trying to win a global war, a trade war, by destroying the economy of the other countries and see which country falls first. Will it be Russia's going to fall? Is China going to fall? Is the United States going to fall? Well, how's it going? Well, I'll tell you, as bad as the outlook is in the United States of America right now, it appears to me like they are the best horse in the glue factory. Honest to gosh. And so the dollar's not going to really totally collapse until something happens to cause the dollar to collapse. I'm going to be talking about gold in a few minutes here. But I want to first take a look at the Chinese economy and what's going on there and how close are they. Like, we know how close we are over here. We're not in good shape. But how bad is it in China? Well, let's take a look. Let's get in there. Furious investors protest outside China's insolvent shadow banking giant after it misses payments. I want to tell you something. Real estate in China is huge. And these shadow banks are linked in with the real estate crisis in China. And the shadow banking is huge. It says things are getting very ugly for China's Blackstone. We'll just call it China's Blackstone and China in general. It says shadow banking giant Zhejiang, also called China's Blackstone, as it managed $1 trillion, has missed payments on multiple shadow banking high-yield investment products, stoking fresh worries about contagion amid China's deflationary pressures and, of course, a tottering real estate sector. Now, the real estate sector in China, let's just talk about that for a minute. And it's not going good. You guys all remember Evergrande. Well, here's the thing. Chinese invest an awful lot of money in real estate. And they do it different than they do here in America. They invest money before the house is even built in China. And it's like a $7 trillion industry. That could really affect the global markets, I'll tell you. Let's take a look at this article. Fitch may reassess China's A-plus credit rating if debts balloon as economy falters. So the economy is faltering in China right now. Confidence across China's financial markets is declining as the People's Bank of China injects the largest amount of short-term cash since February, one day after it cut interest rates. So over here, what are we doing? And we're raising interest rates. In China, they're cutting them. In China, they're talking actually about, believe it or not, helicopter money. In China. That's what they're talking about. With China's economy on the verge of collapse, the People's Bank of China, central bankers, calls for helicopter money. In other words, they're going to start to they're going to do what, to try to stay afloat, they're going to do what we should be doing. And that's instead of withdrawing, look, if this is a war, a trade war, to see what country collapses financially first, don't let it be the dollar. You know, they're going to support their system by injecting liquidity and avoid collapse, because the whole world's a debt-based system now. Russia's debt-based, China's debt-based, the United States is debt-based. You know? And it's kind of like a bunch of people out there saying, okay, which one, say you got three guys, and one guy's, and they're all in a hunger thing where they're going to starve themselves to death. Okay? Just picture this, right? But one guy over there is cheating. He's eating. He's eating at nighttime when nobody's looking. Well, that's what fiscal stimulus is. And that's what helicopter money is. Helicopter money is like cheating on your diet. You're not going to ever starve to death if you're sneaking food. And food's like money to the system, I mean. So, I mean, if they do it over there, why can't we have helicopter money over here? Start up the stimmy checks again, I say, and let the American economy boom. Yeah, it'll be at the expense of the dollar a little bit. But, I mean, what's the alternative? Crash everything? Destroy the economy and then say, okay, now we'll let the helicopter money go. No, now it's too late. You've destroyed the economy. Helicopter money won't make any sense. You got to give the helicopter money. And see, maybe this is the reason why the Chinese are outplaying us at this game. They're pretty smart. Don't ever underestimate their intelligence. And don't ever overestimate the intelligence of the people at the Fed. Because they're gonna continue on with this austerity that they're putting on us, and they're going to crash everything. Then they're going to come along and say, oh, now we'll give you the money. Now we'll give you the helicopter money. That don't work that way. It's too late. The milk is spilt by that point in time. You know, America's still got a little bit of an economy out there. It's still functioning, and it's still not that bad. Don't let it get that bad. It's time to turn this thing around now, before the Chinese beat us to the punch. It's too late after our economy's been destroyed to say sorry. And the Chinese looks like they're getting ready to do the helicopter money and keep their economy going. This is a debt-based system. And you cannot taper a Ponzi scheme. You cannot do austerity into something that's all been borrowed money. Because when you start to try to pay all the loans back, you destroy the economy. What part of this don't they get? I want to know. You know? We got to keep our economy over here vibrant and strong and not let it get too weak. But this is all the trade war. Remember, in the background's a trade war. You want to win the trade war, you got to stay strong. And it works that way all the way through life. If you want to win in life, you got to stay strong. You know, you got to eat the right foods. You got to, and you got to have exercise and everything else. You're going to stay strong. Well, this is the same way with the country. If it's a debt-based system that's used to having lots of money flowing through the veins of the arteries of the financial system, you got to keep that blood in there, that money. If you drain the liquidity out, this is going to pass out. The whole thing's going to pass out. Anyway, I've harped on about that a little bit for a minute or two, but I mean, this is important. This is important for everything that's involved in this and everything else. This is really important that America keep the machine running and keep it going, greased with money. I mean, as far as inflation is concerned, they're going to get that anyway. And in fact, if they get a weak economy, if they weaken the economy, inflation's going to go up a hell of a lot faster with a weak economy than it would a strong economy. Plus the miserable depression, if they induce a recession or a depression, the miserable toll it takes on the people out there. All of us. Don't they care about us at all, or they just want the bottom line of what they want? And this is the problem with society. We've just got people out there who just basically they don't care about the people. They only care about how rich they can get and how much money they can make. So anyway, let's move on. Take a look at silver today. 22.56. Taking a look at gold. 1901. Boy, it's been miserable for gold and silver. Now, I told you guys I was going to talk about gold and silver. The central bank, PBOC, the People's Bank of China, has been buying gold lately. And they've been buying a lot. And they've been buying for a long time now. And so is Russia. And Russia's got a lot of gold. China's got a lot of gold. America says they have a lot of gold, but do they really? And in comparison, anyway, I mean, if we took the amount of gold that China probably really has like 20,000 tons, and Russia's got like 20,000 tons, and if America had all the gold that they said they have, what is it, something like 8,000 tons that has never been audited. The gold at Fort Knox hasn't been audited, and they won't do an audit on it. Don't hold your breath waiting for an audit. Don't hold your breath waiting for them to show it and let us see if they really got it there or not. But enough said about that. Maybe they got it there, maybe they don't. I don't know. But still, it would be probably less than Russia and China's amount. Probably. Now, that's the official amount that China's supposed to have is like 2,000 tons or something. A little bit over 2,000 and change of tons. Which, if America had what it says it have, China would only have a quarter of what America's got. But we all know that that's a bunch of baloney. So what are they planning on doing with all that gold? Well, I'm going to tell you, China and Russia, they're working to try to win this trade war. And gold could be a big factor, but it's not a real big factor right now in the financial system because the prices of gold are so low. So adding all the gold up, how big of a marketplace is it? In comparison to other things. For crying out loud, I mean, Bitcoin has got more than $1 trillion. And I mean, if you move the price of something up high enough, then it takes up more of a market share of the world's financial system. So if gold is their plan, there's only one thing that's going to really work for them, and they're going to have to move the price of gold up so that it becomes more important within the world's financial system. And maybe this is what they want to do ultimately. But maybe they want to get as much gold as they can before that happens. Now, over here in the United States, that would behoove them if China. That's the plan Russia and China got, is to use gold. It would behoove them over in the West here to keep the price down. making the dollar stronger. See, so you got these two tides on the earth. One tide over there in the east. They want to, in the east, they want to bring down the West and make them less important in the financial system. And the opposite's true. This is a trade war. Gold is at the heart of this trade war, the way I see it. And this is why the war is ongoing against the price of gold. And that's because they still have control in London and in New York. And as long as they have control, they're going to keep this price down. Because of what I just said. They don't want, if gold takes up too big of a market share and around the world and it becomes too important, the higher the price goes on gold, the more important it becomes within the financial system. And it's a unit of measure. It measures who's got the power when gold's important. So if you make gold less important by keeping the price down, then it doesn't really matter so much. And then you can play with all this Fugazi money. That becomes important. Much more important than the gold that's out there. And they have to keep this gold suppressed. They got no other choice in New York and in London. Or that'll happen. The East will win. Okay? But the East, they're looking at it just in the opposite thing. They're saying, how can we snatch this control away of the price manipulation? But they're not doing it right now. What does that mean? It means that they probably want this to continue for a little while longer while they accumulate. They're very, very, the people in the East are very, very patient. And they're real planners. And they're very intelligent. And so this eventually they're going to do what they're going to do over in the East. They're working toward it slowly, methodically. But what it means is ultimately this price, in order for it to increase the value of the gold that they have stored, they're going to have to unhinge this price at a certain point. And what does that mean? Probably $20,000 gold an ounce, priced in dollars. That's probably what it means, and it might not be that far in the future because this trade war is escalating, and it's escalating fast. It's morphing. Heaven forbid it morph into a nuclear war. Let's hope not. Cryptocurrency today, what we're looking at is Bitcoin at 29,044, and it's dipping. Ethereum's dipping too at 1818. XRP is at 59.3 cents, and it's dipping. They're all dipping today. This is your fool's gold. That's what Bitcoin was supposed to be, digital gold. You know, it only exists online, but it mimics gold, real gold, in certain aspects. And I'm not putting Bitcoin down. I think if the whole world ran on Bitcoin, it would set the record straight. It would be an awful lot harder for them to cheat. Anyway, let's take a look now at the Dow Jones Industrial Average at 32 points to the upside, 34,978. Taking a look at crude oil is at $80.96, and it's down 3 cents on the day. Bonds and rates today, we're looking at falling yields on the long end. U.S. 10-year, rising yields, I should say, on the long end. It's went up 0.2 of a basis point. The U.S. 10-year, 4.23, and the U.S. 30 years at 4.33, and it's up 1.4 basis points. And taking a look at the U.S. dollar index is at 103.21 today. So dollar's staying strong, riding high. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can, and hit that notification icon. And you guys have a great rest of the day. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for watching my show, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. And have a great afternoon, and maybe have a barbecue this weekend. We'll catch. Well, it's still summer, you know. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye bye.